Hi everyone, following on from our introduction session for the M365 series, I'll be covering the following agenda with Abbey. Just as a quick intro again, I'm Ryan Mulliner, one of the Microsoft commercial executives here at Bytes.
I'm Abbey Long, a Microsoft security specialist here at Bytes.
So we'll start with an M365 E3 recap, then moving on to M365 E5 explained and licensing, and also how to buy. So starting with the recap, M365 is broken down into 5 different feature sets, as shown here. So starting with Office 365, EMS, Windows, and Defender for Endpoint. These make up all the components of M365 E3. Now you can purchase this as a full M365 suite, or you can buy individual parts feature sets. So for example, Office 365 E3 is available on its own, EMS E3 is available on its own, and so is Windows. There's also components of these suites which can be purchased standalone too. So with a dotted line here, this shows that this can be purchased separately. Same for Intune, and the same for Defender for Endpoint. It's worth noting that there's been a couple of changes to the M365 E3 suite. In March 2022, the inclusion of Defender for Endpoint Plan 1 and also audio and conferencing was included in the suite. And also there's been a recent name change for Azure AD. That has now become Entra ID.
So going into a little bit more detail as to what is actually included within M365 E5, there's 4 main components essentially. There's your security, your compliance, your calls and meetings, and your analytics. So within security, the main features to point out within the E5 step up are Defender for Office Plan 1 and 2. So this allows you to improve your email protection with anti-phishing, Exchange Online protection, as well as attack simulation training and threat explorer and trackers. Entra ID Plan 2 includes privileged identity management and risk-based conditional access, which is not included within the M365 E3. And Defender for Endpoint Plan 2 gives you vulnerability management to ensure that you always have the most up-to-date features and patches on your endpoint, as well as threat analytics for these devices. In regards to the compliance piece, the step up adds e-discovery and audit, insider risk management, and information protection and governance to your environment with privileged access management, data lifecycle management, and Teams data loss prevention, just to name a few there. With calls and meetings from a telephony perspective, Teams phone and audio conferencing added. And regarding analytics, you get My Analytics and Power BI. So when it comes to actually adding on these E5 components, as Ryan mentioned, they can be added individually or as the entire suite. When you're looking at the costing, etc. for this, the overall step up from E3 to E5 is $21. Obviously, this is dependent on the agreement that you utilize and how you purchase, etc. But also, if you were to purchase these components individually, you'd be looking at around $44. So it's worth looking into exactly where that point is, that it's better off for you to actually be purchasing the full suite rather than those components individually.
Yeah, so following up from what Abby said, that there's many different components and bundled into different mini suites. So it can be achieved in many different ways. And with the latest comparison chart available this month, the features of E5 are split into 6 different feature sets. Phone and Power BI platform, information protection and governance, email security and awareness, identity and security, cloud apps, and endpoint security. So you can purchase this in many different ways. So you can go to full E5, which includes everything you can see on the screen here, or Microsoft then released it into two different mini suites to add on to E3, being the compliance suite and the security suite. But you can also break down further. So you can, everything with dotted line, as I said on the E3, can also be purchased separately. So Defender for Plan 1, Defender for Office Plan 1 can be purchased separately. The Entra ID step up can be purchased. The endpoints a step up. It's how Bytes would help you is we would look at your estate, see what you're using. Maybe you've got phone system or Power BI and look into some security features. There are tipping points to where it becomes more cost effective to go full E5, and we can support you on that journey. So following on from what I've just shown you there, this gives you a sort of a visual of what each individual component, if you bought them all separately, compared to if you bought the mini suites, which I talked about, or going from fully E3 to E5. So it's always worth looking at that maths and doing a workshop with Bytes, and we can tell you these break-even points, go through the features, and we'll be going in more in depth into what actually all these do, how they can help you. So how to buy. As with most online services, the decision comes down to EA versus CSP, which both have different pros, cons, and benefits. EA is aimed at businesses with 500 and above user devices with company-wide coverage, whereas CSP doesn't have a minimum commitment. This doesn't mean that if a business has 500 users, they should go EA. There are pros and cons of both, which can be explained further on a call in a licensing workshop. EA is a 3-year contract with annual compliance windows, whereas CSP is either an annual commitment, 12-month price lock, but can be billed monthly, or a month-to-month billing with a 20% increase for the facility to be able to reduce on a month-to-month basis. CSP offers more flexibilities in this area, but doesn't offer the 3-year price lock, which can be attractive to customers.
Thanks for listening, and next time we will be discussing how Bytes can help you on your M365 journey.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. We have lots more exciting conversations happening in our other podcasts. Make sure you check them out on Spotify and Google Podcasts and follow us for more.